I don't know what happened there. For some reason my phone stopped recording. This style of driving is a game. It turns driving into a game, and it makes it so much more enjoyable, as well as less wear and tear on your brakes and better fuel efficiency. It's all about coasting. Coast down the hill, coast to the traffic light instead of speeding to the traffic light. Okay, first gear, second gear. I see that light up there is red, so instead of going into third gear like most people would do without even really thinking about what they're doing, I go from second gear into neutral, and then I'm just coasting my way all the way to the light. Easy peasy. And then by doing that, instead of speeding to the light, I got to move through the light without having to stop. Every time you don't have to stop, you're still moving a little bit, that's a win for you. Here's a light up ahead, and I can see the light ahead of that is red. So now I went from second to coasting yet once again. Coast through the light. As long as I'm not coasting super slow with someone on my tail wondering why I'm not going the speed limit, I'm good. Quite often you're able to just coast along with the speed limit. Most of the time, really. This is a very effective style of driving in a town with a lot of hills. If you live in a town with a lot of hills, you can use those hills to your advantage, and you can make driving way more enjoyable by doing that. Since I got you here and we're talking about driving, here is first of all, driving is not the only game. Reality is the game. So driving is a game within the game of reality. And furthermore, you get tested by other people, especially when you're driving, because sometimes someone will pull out in front of you and there's no other cars around anywhere in sight. They did it simply because they just weren't aware enough to not be a rude driver. When that happens, it's a test to see how you will respond. And by getting upset, the more upset you get, the worse you failed that test. And it's going to take some practice. You can reprogram yourself to not get so mad about poor drivers getting in your way. I'm even to the point where if I'm really on my game, see, I'm coasting right now, by the way. If I'm really on my game, I will even bless the person who just cut me off. Okay, so now I see the lights changed. I pop it into third gear since I was going 25. I hit my gas up just for that much. I needed gas. I just hit my gas for about 1 second. Then I popped it right back into neutral. And now, once again, I'm going the speed limit. The guy behind me is not pissed because I'm keeping up with the guy in front of me. There's a nice distance in between me and the car in front of me. And don't worry if the guy behind you gets a little bit close, as long as you're not being selfish in your driving. Here is a thing about driving. Tailgating is low consciousness. It doesn't mean that you should be mad at the person who's tailgating you. They're testing you, or something is testing you. But it's something to be aware of, especially for yourself. Tailgating for a couple of seconds is one thing, but tailgating all the time is simply a mistake. And it just shows that you're not paying attention. Okay, so here we go. First gear, second gear. So I can explain quite a bit in 5 minutes. That was a 5-minute video. Third gear, and I know the streets. Once you know the streets, now I'm just coasting, then you can manipulate the streets. If you're in a town that you don't know, it's going to be more difficult to make your driving moves, if you will. That's kind of what they are. They're little moves. But I know this town like the back of my hand, so therefore I know exactly when to hit coast. Okay, so I ease on my brakes right here. Instead of waiting for the last second and then hitting my brakes really hard, I stay a ways behind this guy to let him get out of my way. Roundabouts, very important to know how to drive a roundabout so you don't get in someone's way. If you don't know how to drive a roundabout, Google it. Anything you need to know, you can Google. Everybody knows that at this point. Okay, so now I'm judging, can I get that light or not? Well, it turned yellow, so there was no way. When you see a green light up ahead, now your intuition, it's up to your intuition to either pop it into coast and not try to catch that light, or leave it in gear, so your gear will slow you down sometimes, because that's too, you do that too. Or speed up to see if you can catch that light. When you know the light's better, you're going to have a better chance at doing this. Knowing, to slow down ahead of time instead of having to wait till the last second will make your driving smoother. You won't end up right behind someone who hit their brakes unnecessarily nearly as often. By letting that person ahead of you have that room, especially when you're doing this style of driving, is super key, because you want to have a little bit of leniency for your coast to be efficient and on point. So first gear, second gear, third gear, and coast. I haven't needed fourth gear because I'm in town. So now we'll coast all the way up to the stop sign, going the speed limit pretty much the whole time. Here we have a stop sign.